and his walking stick. But the thing that's actually impressed me more is James Harden's ability to play make. And stop me if you heard me say this before. He's the most unique offensive weapon in the history of the NBA. And follow me here. He's the only player in the history of the league at some point of his career that will lead the league in three-pointers made, free throws made, total assists in the same in a season. And this will be his second time leading it in assists. Usually the guy that's making the threes ain't leading the league in assists. Usually the guy that's getting to the free throw line ain't making the most threes. That's James Harden.
And you wondered how he was going to adjust in playing in Brooklyn, and it seems as though he's made that adjustment to fit into the offense and make it work.
Absolutely, he has to, because the other guys already have chips.
Sure.
And he was the guy that had to suppress his game and also had to break up with his former situation and make everybody in Houston mad at him in order to get there.
Yeah, and Kevin Durant's still working his way back from that hamstring injury. He's missed 4 straight games after having been back 1 game, 1 practice, and having missed a whole other week with COVID issues. And I'm told that they're going to just start to ramp Durant back up in practice. They're not going to just put him back on the court in a game. So there's still going to be some time there. But this Brooklyn team, even without Durant, continues to roll on this Western Conference swing. And, you know, they've got a lot of latitude there to let KD get back to 100% and then bring him back and start to see something we really haven't seen this year. Durant, Harden, and Irving playing together over a consistent basis.
Yeah, as we get closer and closer to the second half of the season, you want to be able to see that. But let's talk about the Clippers, because they have been rolling in the West. They've won 5 of their last 6 games. What would you say has been the turning point for them, or what's working well right now?
I got you. The last year in the history of the Clippers was the first time they went into a year and people like me felt like they were legitimate championship contender. And they folded under those expectations. Kawhi's still great. He's still a top 2 or 3 player. Paul George is still all NBA performer, but they got humbled last year. And it's exactly what we were saying about Joel Embiid. He got humbled. And so now what are you going to do when that happens? If you notice, head down, they're just grinding, playing basketball, not laughing at Dame Lillard, not creating no sideshows, because when you get bounced, not by the Lakers, but by the Denver Nuggets, when you were up 3-1 and your 2 best players in the game on the sideline, you ain't got nothing to say to the playoffs.
Yeah, it'll be interesting now to watch the Clippers develop this bench and their second unit, you know, as Paul George has come back from that toe injury, you know, his minutes are still getting ramped back up. You know, he's in that 25, 26-minute range. So you're not necessarily seeing him go play with that second unit of the Clippers where the ball's going to go through him more. And so you're seeing Lou Williams and Marcus Morris, who they re-signed in the offseason, 4 years, $64 million. He has started to play better, has been more productive. That's going to be really important for the Clippers as they look at the long view of advancing deeper in the postseason.
Yeah, well, the Clippers looking to add another win into their back pocket, and that will happen tonight, like we said, on ESPN. You can watch the Nets and the Clippers, and of course you can watch NBA Countdown, because we aren't going home. We're hanging out right here.
We're not done.
We're not done yet, okay?
We're not done.
Our coverage will start at 7 Eastern. Jay will join us. We'll have NBA Countdown for a full hour, getting you ready for the Clippers and the Nets. That'll happen tonight on ESPN and the ESPN app. Meanwhile, Zion Williamson, obviously taking the league by storm, taking the paint by storm, but the way that he's using his talents off. No one's had an answer for Zion Williamson in February, because you've never seen anything like it. He's on pace to become the 6th player in the shot clock era to average 25 points on 65% shooting in a calendar month, a list that includes Wilt Chamberlain and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And who better to break down the league's most exciting high flyer than the human highlight film himself, Vince Carter.
On this episode of Detail, I'll take a look at Pelicans forward Zion Williamson. Here's a coach's dream of having a big that can be up on the screen, buying time for his teammate, his defender, Lonzo Ball, to get back into the play, as well as being able to get back to the lob. You see, he's buying time. He's kind of not in no man's lane, but he's in the middle of the ball handler and his defender right there. So now he's able to guard 2 Plus, he knows he has backside help, Brandon Ingram, under the basket. In case he has to commit on the ball and his man gets behind him, he has a little help. But he allows Brandon Ingram to stay home because he can guard two. Zoe gets back. For the most part, he's so athletic. Like, if you're going to throw a lob over Zion, who is super athletic, it has to be a perfect pass. And you see here, it's just hits the side of the backboard. Great defense. Great help. Once he gets the ball right here, I think we all know what happens next. Here's the interesting part about this. Porzingis notices it right about now. Swipe through, go ahead, I can't do anything. And that's kind of what it is when you know a guy who's that big, that athletic, who jumps that high. This is the only attempt, the only option you really have is a swipe and hoping you hit the ball and get a steal. He misses, 2 points. For more analysis, watch Detail on ESPN+.
You can actually watch more Vinsanity tonight on NBA Countdown at 7 Eastern. We got Vince joined by Dr. J. We got Neek, all the great masters of devastating dunks. They're going to be reminiscing on the art of just posterizing other human beings. That's at 7 Eastern on ESPN before the Nets Clippers, J. Rose.
I'm glad VC started off that piece showing Zion defensively, in particular pick and roll, because that's the absolute weakness of his game. That's the absolute weakness of his game. And you see when he compete on that end, how he turned defense into offense and finished at the other end. Woj, that's why you bring in Stan Van Gundy as the head coach.
No, that's exactly it, and that's what David Griffin had in mind when he hired Stan Van Gundy. Not just Zion, but a young core in New Orleans that they want to get better defensively. That's still very much a work in progress there. But history has shown, Stan will get that group better and will get Zion better individually.
Yeah, Jason Tatum, he's been getting better. He's been honest about, listen, the effects of COVID, they have been lingering. He's been working through it. He missed 5 games, but he's still averaging a career high in points with 25 a game.
And each year he's had to adjust his role. Like, Kyrie was there, that's a change. Kemba comes, that's a change. Kemba in and out of the lineup. Marcus Smart in and out of the lineup. Jalen Brown has emerged. But he's still consistent. Career highs in points, career highs in assists. And when there's a game-winning shot, they're going to give him the ball.
And meanwhile, Jalen Brown, we keep talking about it, the constant ascension that we're seeing from this young fella makes a great duo between Tatum and Brown.
A terrific defender, first and foremost. And when he got drafted so very high, everyone knew that he was going to be able to guard multiple positions. What they didn't realize that he was going to continue to work on his handle, his jump shot, and become a terrific finisher and scorer in this league.
Yeah, listen, this was a player that when Danny Ainge picked him at the top of the lottery, people wondered whether he merited that. And this is a player who just keeps working and has gotten better and better. And as more opportunities come his way, Horford leaving, Gordon Hayward leaving, you've seen him really arrive this year.
I feel like this is a great example of how great the NBA is, because Jay Rose always talks about it. 4 superstars under the age of 25 going at it right now on a Sunday matinee. You enjoy it. We'll see you at halftime. Mark Jones, Doris Burke, and Lisa Salters on the call.
New Orleans, Louisiana, and a muted Mardi Gras this past week because of COVID. But, folks, even a pandemic, even in that, you can't stifle the irrepressible vibe of this unique city. It's swag. And inside the Smoothie King Center today, 2 of the high-scoring wings and tandems in the league. Zion Williamson on an all-star track. Jason Tatum, first-time all-star season ago. Brandon Ingram, last year's most improved player. And Jalen Brown making a mercurial rise to the game's elite. And we are ready to go here in New Orleans. Hello, everybody. I'm Mark Jones alongside Doris Burke. Lisa Salters joining us in just a bit. Doris, every time you see Zion Williamson, you think about that viral internet sensation 3-4 years ago. But right now, he's morphed into something different. Only Michael Jordan and Shaquille O'Neal have scored more points than Zion in their first 50 games, and we haven't even seen the best of Zion yet.
That's right. His game is still evolving, and what's remarkable is not only is he dominant, but the efficiency with which he's dominating. The vast majority of his points right now coming in the paint, over 18 points per game in there. You see on the bottom left of that, just 6 for 16 three-point territory, but that will come with time. In the meantime, Stan Van Gundy has made